Crash Course Psychology with Evan and Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Evan.
And we're going to float through the key concepts of social psychology.
Social psychology is how we think about, relate to, and influence one another. Behavior attribution is basically why we think someone's behaving a certain way.
According to Fritz Heider, we as humans naturally attribute people's behavior to their internal dispositions, like they're just a bitch, instead of their external circumstances, like they're having a bad day.
This phenomenon is also known as the fundamental attribution. In a social setting, one may change their mindset to fit that of a group's. This everyday phenomenon is called conformity.
Most oftentimes, the pressure to conform is often imagined and blown out of proportion crazily.
Obedience is the compliance to an order from an authority figure.
The authority figure, however, may or may not be imagined, meaning he or she actually has no power whatsoever.
The presence of others, whether in groups or as bystanders, greatly affects our behaviors.
Many perform tasks better in front of others. This is called social facilitation. We unconsciously perform these tasks better when we're in front of others, just more efficiently.
Another example of how we act differently in groups, although you might not want to hear this, is called social loafing.
Social loafing occurs in group work in which everyone individually exerts less effort than they would if they were alone instead of a group.
Another phenomenon that occurs in groups is de-individualization, where basically you have less self-control and restraint when you're in a group.
Group polarization is like de-individualization in that the groups become more radical. Although in group polarization, there's a group-wide mindset established and it just becomes way more intense. What separates cultures are their different values, traditions, and attitudes that vary from generation to generation.
Cultures are essentially run by norms, and norms are basically socially acceptable behaviors.
There are two basic types of norms. The first one is reciprocity, which is when somebody helps you because you helped them in the past. The second norm is a responsibility norm, where somebody helps you because you need their help, like you're dependent on them. As expected in any society, prejudice will be present, which is just an altered state towards a group of people for no reason, basically.
Stereotypes, as most of you guys already know, are general beliefs about specific groups of people. Those who do the discriminating are normally in an in-group, and the in-group are people who share a certain identity.
People in the out-groups, or basically just outsiders, are the ones who get discriminated against by people in the in-group.
Oftentimes when we discriminate, we're being aggressive. And aggression is any behavior meant to harm somebody.
Work when pertaining to school. According to the mere exposure effect, the more time you spend with something or someone, the more likely you are to like that thing or someone.
Unlike aggression, altruism is the unselfish regard for others.
The diffusion of responsibility phenomenon occurs when someone is more severe in their actions that they commit when they believe someone else is there to take the responsibility, like an authority figure. The most famous example of the diffusion of responsibility phenomenon happens in the Milgram experiment, where the subjects, they diffuse their responsibility towards the doctor in that case. One major example of when people don't show altruism at all is during the bystander effect, and that's basically when a bunch of people fail to act to generally help somebody because they think others around them, other bystanders, will act.
A conflict is a perceived action or goal.
A conflict is a perceived incompatibility of goals, ideas, or actions. A self-fulfilling prophecy is a belief that will ultimately lead to its fulfillment because of the belief. The most famous example of this is the study by Robert K. Merton, in which she told teachers which students would be gifted, and she ended up teaching them differently because of that information. Ultimately, the students that were told to be gifted ended up being more smarter because of the way she acted. Boom. You sound like Down syndrome, bud.
You have to keep that one. Stereotypes, as most of you guys know. Another phenomenon that occurs in groups is called de-individualization, where basically, what the f am I talking like that, bro?
What separates cultures are the different values, attitudes.
Don't go get that. Bro, stop. You better stop. Stereotypes, as many of you guys know, are just general beliefs about groups of people.